In every age, peace is temporary, a brief silence, before history moves again. And in Pywel, that truth cuts even deeper. Kingdoms rise. Mercenaries swear loyalty. Nobles speak of honor. But beneath it all, something older than ambition is stirring. Watching. Waiting. This is the story of Crimson Desert as we understand it so far. And by the end of this video, you may begin to wonder, was the greatest threat to Pywel ever human? Or has something been watching this continent from beyond the sky? The story unfolds across the vast continent of Pywel, a land of brutal winters, fractured kingdoms, wandering tribes, and simmering political tension. Pywel is not a unified empire. It is a continent constantly shifting under the weight of power struggles. To the north lies Pywel, a frostbitten homeland of warriors hardened by survival. Beyond stretch grasslands and wild territories where mercenary bands roam freely. Further south, scorching deserts hide ancient ruins and forgotten secrets buried beneath endless sand. Bustling cities thrive on trade and deception, while noble houses scheme behind stone walls. Every region breathes its own culture. Every faction believes it deserves control. And peace? Peace is an illusion held together by swords. At the center of this saga stands one man, Kliff. Not a king, not a chosen hero, just a mercenary who survived when many others did not. Kliff is the captain of the Greymanes, a group of warriors bound not by blood, but by loyalty earned on the battlefield. For years, the Greymanes fought across the continent of Pywel. They were mercenaries, yes, but they were also brothers and sisters in arms. And Kliff carried the responsibility of leading them. But leadership in a land like Pywel comes at a price. War is everywhere. Kingdoms fight for power, nobles plot behind castle walls, and mercenary companies are often nothing more than expendable tools in someone else's game. Somewhere in that chaos, the Greymanes were betrayed. One night, the Greymanes are ambushed. The attackers? A rival mercenary faction known as the Black Bears. The assault is brutal, sudden, calculated. An ambush shattered the group, scattering its members across the continent. Many never made it out alive. And Kliff survived. Not because he was the strongest, not because he was destined to, but because sometimes survival is the cruelest burden of all. Now, Kliff walks a different road. His journey is not simply about revenge. It is about finding the survivors of the Greymanes, the friends he lost, the comrades he failed to protect, and uncover why the Black Bears truly struck. Because the attack feels too deliberate to be simple rivalry. The Black Bears are more than a violent mercenary band. They are organized, ruthless, driven. Their leader, a man known as Murden, commands not just soldiers, but fear. But here is the question the game quietly plants. Were the Black Bears acting on their own? Or were they instruments? The scale of the ambush suggests planning beyond personal vendetta. Political forces may be at play. Powerful figures within Pywel's fractured nobility may have needed the Greymanes removed. But even that explanation may not be deep enough. As Kliff travels deeper into the lands of Pywel, he begins to realize something far more troubling. The chaos consuming the continent is not just the result of human greed or political ambition. Something older is stirring. Fragments of a mysterious power, something known only as the Abyss, have begun to appear across the world. And wherever that power spreads, conflict follows. Kingdoms fight over it. Warriors seek to control it. And entire regions begin to fall into darkness. Without intending to, Kliff becomes caught in the center of it all. What began as a search for lost comrades slowly turns into something much larger. A struggle not just for survival, but for the fate of Pywel itself. Because in a world where kings chase power and armies march toward endless war, sometimes the only thing standing between order and chaos is a tired mercenary who refuses to give up on the people he calls family. And that man is Kliff. Pywel's political situation is fragile. There are suggestions of a ruler weakened or incapacitated, a throne without firm control, a vacuum of authority. And history teaches us something very clearly. When power is empty, blood fills the space. Mercenaries become kingmakers. Noble houses turn to espionage. Cities fortify themselves. Religion begins to matter more. Symbols, relics, and belief systems rise in importance during instability. If Pywel is collapsing from within, then Kliff's personal mission intersects with something much larger. Because rebuilding the Greymanes may mean choosing a side in a continental struggle. Kliff is not a chosen one blessed by prophecy. He is tired. He is burdened. He carries responsibility for men who trusted him. His story appears to be less about destiny and more about consequence. What happens when a man who tried to preserve peace is forced to become an agent of war? Will he rebuild the Greymanes as protectors, or reshape them into something harder, colder? The marketing tagline calls this a saga written in blood. The question is, whose blood? His enemies, or his ideals? Official statements suggest player decisions influence relationships and faction outcomes. That implies moral ambiguity. Will you align with nobles seeking order? Side with rebels promising freedom? Ignore politics and focus only on your brothers? Even if the main ending is structured, the world around Kliff appears reactive. And that raises another possibility. Is there a hidden ending? A true path unlocked only if you uncover the deeper mystery behind the fragments and the greater threat? Let's examine the visual clues. Sky anomalies, ancient ruins, energy distortions, enemies that feel otherworldly. These are not random aesthetic choices. They suggest one of two possibilities. Pywel is experiencing the aftermath of an ancient catastrophe, and the seals are weakening. Or something beyond the world is actively breaking through. If so, then the Greymanes' destruction may have been timed. Because when chaos spreads across nations, fewer people notice when the sky begins to crack. And if factions are distracted by civil war, no one prepares for invasion. On the surface, Crimson Desert is about mercenaries, revenge, and fractured kingdoms. But beneath that, it may be about leadership in an age of collapse. Kliff might begin his journey trying to rebuild what he lost, but he may end it confronting the truth. The war between mercenaries was never the main conflict. The desert is crimson, not just from battlefield slaughter, but from a world slowly bleeding towards something inevitable. If Pywel is standing on the edge of a second calamity, then the true climax may not be defeating the Black Bears. It may be choosing what kind of world rises from the ashes. And with release day almost here, we are left with questions. Who truly orchestrated the fall of the Greymanes? What are the fragments? Is the supernatural force dormant or awakening? And will Kliff save Pywel or simply survive it? This is only the beginning of the saga, and Pywel has not yet shown us all its scars.